thoughts on friends in your life, people around you? How guarded are you? And I don't mean like from a privacy standpoint, but I mean with your time.
No, so I am, and maybe it's because I'm still young, but I am pretty ruthless when it comes to the people that I have in my life.
Yeah. And
I tend to have a relatively contrarian view on relationships, which is that I do believe that all relationships are transactional. It sounds hard to say, but if you never got anything positive at some point, most humans will cease to continue the relationship. And so if we think about human behavior in terms of reinforcers and punishers, because those are the only two things, sticks and carrots, right? The people that we've had a longer period of time with, we are willing to wait a longer period of time before we are reinforced to continue to spend time with them. So we will wait longer periods of time before we get another carrot, which then kicks it out again, right? For the next carrot to come. And so for me, when I look at the relationships that I have, I try to cut off the backside, which is I don't want to keep a relationship because I have always had it. I don't want to give value to something because it has existed, but only insofar as it will continue to add value, and more so that it is aligned with where I want to go.
Right.
And so if I feel, at least as I see them, we either have people who are, or the people or actions we take are either going to get us closer or further from our goals. That is all. And so I want to stack the deck in my favor with the most amount of people who help me get the furthest or closest to my goals compared to other things. And so oftentimes, at least in my experience, the higher up I've gone on at least the material ladder of success, the fewer people can hang. And it's because of maybe their skills, their character traits, their beliefs. If I feel like I am overwhelmingly giving in the relationship and there's really not much that comes back over an extended period of time, my time to cut the relationship has just decreased over time. Yeah. And a lot of this, I think I read some studies of older people, because I like studying elderly a lot, because I think that they have some perspective.
Yes, they do.
To Gen Z, I feel like y'all should listen to old people.
They really should, yeah.
But if you see a happiness curve on subjective well-being, it's actually like a smiley face. So people are happiest when they're like 10 years old, yep. And then they go slow and steady down where the valley of despair is like 45 to 55. Wow. And then they start to come up the other side once they get into elderly and retirement age. And one of the biggest things that they attributed it to is that the relationships and circumstances that people used to deal with or suffer through, they would say they literally didn't have time for that. They're like, I only have 10 years left. I don't have time for Susie. She's negative. She's always talking smack behind my back. Rather than keep this relationship, I just make more time for the people who don't. And I think that if I am going to be that way eventually, I might as well enjoy the benefits of making those types of decisions now, despite it not being in vogue.
Yep. Well, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, that's incredible. Let me ask you this. How would you define a person who would be called a friend of Alex? What do they need? What's that transaction need to look like between you and them?
Yeah, a high ratio of positive exchange per unit of time.
So fancy they need to lift you when you're around them, not suck the life out of you.
Per the amount of time like if I have a relationship that I only, we text once a quarter, and it's always something cool or something interesting, very low time investment, but low positive back, but still positive, right? So I think it's just the ratio of.
Gotcha.
I mean, this is what you put in versus what you get out. So a friend would be somebody who has a high ratio of what I put in versus what I get out.
Exactly. But I mean, what would you say your circle of close friends is right now? What's the number? How many people, if I'm hanging out with you and I'm around you 30 days and I go, okay, he's got 3 close friends, he's got 5, 7, 10, what is it?
3.
Yeah. That's what the data shows. Let me ask you this. How many of those 3 close friends go way back more than 10 years?
None.
That's what I thought.
My wife's 7, if that counts.
No, it doesn't count. She's your wife. We can't. Yeah.
Well, then 2.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 2. And do you think that is healthy? Would you like it to be more? Is it just perfect?
I don't ascribe a label to it.
Good. So it just is what it is. It's the rhythm you're in and the pace you're running.
I enjoy the life that I have. And if I had no friends and I enjoyed the life that I have, that I would be fine with that. And if I had 20 friends, I would enjoy the life that I had. So I think a lot of mental duress comes from ascribing a positive. It's like the weather. Like is 2 rainy and is 5 sunny, or is it just they just are that way?
Yeah.
And this might also be a season of my life that I'm in a little bit more of a building season, and I might not have as much extracurricular time that I can allocate towards friendship. So maybe my ratio for friends is higher now than it might be in the future. I don't know. I suspect it'll raise, honestly. But and I just wanted to add one caveat to the friend comment. I believe just like capitalism, where both people, one person buys and the other person gives a product and both people say thank you, that in an exchange with a friend, it is my hope that both of us are better off. It's not just like Alex taking, because then they would be justified in saying that they should. I would say you shouldn't be friends with me if I'm only taking from you. And so the hope is that, at least with the relationships that I have that I frequent most often, that the exchange makes both of us better.
Yeah, I want to go, let's go deeper on this, because I get this call a lot on the show. It sounds a little bit like this, and it's fun. I'm going to tee you up for what a call would be for me, and instead of me telling you what I say, I want to know what you say, all right? So it goes like this. Alex, I've got some tension with family members, and I know what I want to do. I know why I want to do it, but they're not very supportive. And it's killing me because it matters a lot to me. And I'm torn. My heart to do what I believe I'm supposed to do, but then my heart for my family. It's an open-ended, and of course I dig in. Where do you go with that question?
So I'd say first we have to define some terms. So the first one is, at least for me, is that love is defined as what you're willing to give up to maintain something, as I define it. And so, for example, if you have a project car, if you've ever worked on a car or something for a long time, it's like, man, he must love that thing because he works on it forever and it doesn't do anything. Like, I'm willing to incur lots of cost before a carrot because I love something. I'm willing to sacrifice a lot in order to keep it. So I think the question for the person would be, which are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice your dreams? Or are you willing to sacrifice a certain amount of influence that your family has over them? And so I think that if we can divorce, like, you can still have a relationship with people, but they don't necessarily need to be the majority of your time. And so if you have people who, I like fast forwarding because I'm a big frame guy. So it's like, if we're 85 years from now and all the people that were in your family who are older than you are now dead, because they will be, and you have not realized the dreams or even attempted to because of the fear of their judgment, how would you feel? Okay, scenario 1. Scenario 2, you do pursue those dreams and you don't have the family at the end of your life, but you did accomplish them. Which one do you feel better with? Now, there is a third path, which is you start pursuing the dream and then they change their opinions and catch up with you, which is the vast majority of the time.
That's correct.
Right? Because we'll be real. Materialism is a real thing. Status is a real thing. If you kill it, they will want you in their group.
That's right.
It's just that oftentimes it's the crab in the bucket scenario, where one crab wants to get away, and the fact that you're trying to spin out of the circle of mediocrity that they are in, you make them feel bad about themselves. And so that bad feeling they project back onto you, and it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. And so for me, I'm ruthless in terms of what I am willing to sacrifice for my goals, because I do, at least in my opinion, in my worldview, if I provide enough value, I will always have access to those people if I desire it.